highlighted. Like, you can't deny it. Like, it's in your face more than ever before, and I feel like it's definitely going to continue to be like that moving forward. You're going to start to see more Black women in different categories excel, not just rap or R&B. Like, they can't stereotype us no more. They can't fit us in no box no more. We're doing country now. We're doing fucking EDM music. We're doing all sorts of different shit now. So I feel like that's just one tiny aspect of media that I'm starting to see such a huge positive forward shift in. And it's like white media can't deny it. All they can do is try to compare to it. But bitch, you can't compare when you don't compete. So.
For sure. Love it. Goddess.
Hey, Goddess Marbanks. So, in terms of the white media, like, they operate in fear, and that's how they keep everybody in control, is through fear. And they've been making people fear us since we were quote unquote freed from slavery. Because now that we were able to do the same things that they were doing, they had to find a different way to stop us from being able to do those things, which is to put fear in everybody's hearts that we're doing things that, yes, there are some people that are doing it, but the majority of people are not doing that. I was watching this documentary called Bowling for Columbine, and you see on every news station has something about a Black man in, I think, LA. Is a shooting in LA, a shooting in LA, a shooting in LA, a robbery in LA, and then they go right to where they said that robbery and that shooting happened, and it's so peaceful over there.
But not to mention that these white men are doing, see, because we're only like 13% of the population, right? And so it's crazy that we dominate the media in that way when white people are committing crimes 4 times, 5 times as much as we are. But for some reason,
talk about it.
Yeah, but that's weird, right?
They brush over it. Like, it's like the quick thing they say right before they show the puppy on the screen. Like, oh yeah, this white man did this. But yeah, in other news, this puppy. But then they'll talk about us and what we're doing for an hour and a half. In terms of like Black media, I think what's become unfortunate is that we are now feeding into the stereotype in order to be seen, in order to get that money, and then we switch, rather than we come in with our head held high and we make that money that way.
Okay. That is definitely something I have seen with a lot of people. I've tuned out of a lot of Black podcasts or YouTubers because of that reason. And also too, like, I don't mind talking about white shit, but the base of everything that I'm going to do is going to be Black, because I can't rub it off. I'm going to always be Black, so it's always going to be Black centered. And usually the whites that we talk about, those are allies of us, and we've talked about allies before. Yeah, let's move on. I think it was Berg and then Toxic.
No, actually, we have Huane. Toxic is going to be first and then Berg.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Go ahead, Huane.
Hi, y'all. I just wanted to say thank you for bringing up this conversation. It's a very, very good conversation to have. I was very happy to join and be a part of it. I can't say.
And Huane, before you go, just remember, state your name the way the listeners on YouTube know who's talking.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. This is Toxic Fimbley, also known as Hueen. To those who know me, my apologies. But I think it's a great discussion to have. I did want to say I wanted to tag along with Goon's point about Black ownership, that I think it is very important to definitely as a community uplift more Black owned things. So like if we know that something is Black owned, like it's very important to give it more recognition, because we just know for a fact that it's not going to get pushed to the forefront, just like Puppy said. Like, they can sit there and talk about something bad we're doing 10 times over, but the minute we do something good, nobody wants to talk about it anymore. All of a sudden, now that we don't want to be a part of the conversation anymore when we want to do anything positive. So, like, I think it's just really important as a whole within us to, like, uplift those types of things. And I think I'm trying to remember who brought up Issa Rae and stuff like that. Like, watching
Venus.
some of these Black creators build themselves up from the ground up, and like making sure we're supporting those people when they go forward and bring those other people up with them, because like that's what we need to do as a community as a whole, like, and like supporting those types of things. And then back to a little bit of what Puppy was saying about back onto the topic of like certain Black people coming within the community and coming up within certain views. And I think it's also very important that if we are doing things like with white media and things like that, that it's still Afrocentric based. Like, it's not, because a lot of the things I find in the media with white media is like they can try, like Venus was saying, to like do it like we're doing it or something, but you can tell right from the jump that it's still coming from a Caucasian-centric, a Yakubian, as Goon says, centric type of view. Like, it's how they see us. It's not how we actually are, which is still kind of portraying us in a not-so-great light. And I just don't think that's fair either. So I just think it's, like, really important, at least for me personally, that when I see something that is, like, Black-owned, that is certainly just like Afrocentric, that I'm pushing that to the forefront of all of my stuff before everything else, to make sure that it gets the recognition that it needs, it gets the views that it deserves, because they're going to get 10,000 views over somebody who's going to do the same thing for us and get 2. So like, I just want to make sure like that I'm pushing it further and forward and getting it to the forefront more than what I would do with like white media that's going to portray us in a more poor light, as it has in the past.
So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Something you said, and then Venus said it too, and I just had a thought. Like, we have to kind of make our media and our podcasts or whatever streams more rich and more Black elegance, if whatever that may look like to you, right? Like, we need to be unapologetically Black and take all the criticism from everybody else and be even Blacker when they criticize us, right? Like, we should definitely stick to our guns and not conform. Berg, and then I have something else to say after Berg.
For sure. I'm gonna go off of what Goddess Mars, Venus, Toxic, and what you just said. I think in media-wise as well, and how we treat each other as a whole, as a Black community, we gotta have more pride in our heritage that came before us, while we are like stepping into the present, as we are walking into the present and stepping into the future as well. You feel me? I shouldn't see on the timeline Black people agreeing with Yakubians and calling our music slave music, Harriet Tubman music, and Unk music, because a brave ass Black fuck the distinction between sexes and shit. A brave ass rapper named Doechii was unapologetically Black on TV, and now a whole bunch of our people is just out there with the Yakubians talking about we not jacking that shit. We don't care that she respect the laws of hip hop and she trying to carry on whatever the fuck heritage that's weird. That's mad whack. I used a old ass insult. That shit whack as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I think we just need more pride in our heritage and shit. We can't be on the internet with these Yakubians and then agree and like dapping it up and being like, well, these is just jokes. Like that nigga J. Cole said, my nigga, most jokes contain true shit. And I'm not with niggas calling the Isley Brothers 5-album run, my nigga, slave music. That's crazy. I'm not with niggas calling Luther Vandross Harriet Tubman music, my nigga, because if they calling that shit slave music, they gonna come for Ashanti in 02. They gonna come for Beyonce's B-Day. They gonna come for Kelly Rowland shit, and we can't let that shit happen. When it comes to the arts and the media, and when it comes to us, what Puppy just saying, my nigga, it could be decadence, We can aim for decadence. We'll probably start off on a lower level of what society deems as a lower level and shit like that. But we are way more powerful when we have true power and intent with this blackness, this heritage, B. We are so powerful, and what Doechii did was literally have her mind and her thought, and she said, you know what? I'm inspired by Solange, another black woman. You know what? I'm inspired by Kanye West, a theatrical motherfucker. She's taking pieces of the past and making new art. We are black people. We created the art of sampling with DJing. We take old black shit and make it into spectacular, even more black things. And we create new original ideas. We powerful. That's all I gotta say, Paul. Go ahead.
That's so beautiful, Bird. So I'm a little history about myself. So I went to an HBCU. We had to take a creative one of these classes I took, and we, was learning a lot of old black writing, some from slavery, some from the early 1900s. And one thing that I remember from that class, or I took from that class, was as a black journalist, entertainer, one thing you should do is just always be true to your people, right? Because once you get whitewashed, we eventually turn, like the black people will turn their back on you because you've been cooning for years. You know what I mean? If you stay true to yourself, we recognize what real is. We do. And I look at the comments and stuff on Twitter. Black folks go in, black Twitter go in, even some of the most not educated ones, but at the end of the day, we know and we get it and we understand it. So when you're true to yourself, we understand it and we get it. And I do think that we are progressing a little bit in the media. I just saw that Cat Williams bought like a Fort base or old army base allegedly, and he's thinking about doing a studio there. That's what Tyler Perry did in Atlanta. So I think Cat Williams, I think, is in Louisiana. We do have a couple of black actors who have matured now, and they have purchased land in these like rural areas that you wouldn't expect. And so I do think that studios will be coming up. I'm not putting the pressure on Issa Rae, but I feel like Issa Rae one day will have a beautiful studio, and that will be a black woman owned studio. One day I hope to have that. And just to give me a little plug, like I do, there's a movie called The Christmas Miracle. It's on BET Plus, and it is on Peacock. I did some extra work on there. If you just so happen to watch it, I might be in there. Look for the scenes with Bambi and see if you see me behind there. I still have my hair. There's also another movie that my girl Hoodoo, Queen Your Highness Hoodoo, found on Tubi. I just knew it was streaming somewhere because it went through the film festivals and a distributor had picked it up. It is now on Tubi. It's called The Scrooge and Marley movie, and it is LGBTQ adaptation of The Christmas Carol, and I'm a go-go dancer. I'm in just a couple of scenes. My little dialogue part has been cut out, but that's what happens once it makes its round through a festival and they decide what they want and what they don't want, whatever. But again, that's mainstream. So as an actor and a performer, I do think that we should not turn down a job. A job is a job. I don't care if it's with the white people, if it's with the black folks, if it's with the Mexicans. You better learn how to speak Espanol, like get your check. But be yourself, be unapologetically real, because that black person that's sitting there watching that white show, that's growing up in the suburbs, they're going to identify to you. I was sort of a suburban kid once we moved out of the hood. So I was exposed to Blossom and that kind of shit, and I loved it. Okay, but I always resonated with the black character. I always needed to see my representation. And of course, then from there, I sought out the black movies. Growing up, I'm watching the How Highs and the Baby Boys and that kind of shit. I like black shit. So we need more of it. We need to put it out there. And let's not talk and let's not degrade ourselves. Some people like to say, oh, our shit is ignorant. No, it ain't. We talk all kind of ways. We act all different ways, just like the white people do. It's just hard to distinguish white trash sometimes from a billionaire white man because they tend to blend in. We don't blend in. We always different. We always stand out. So we're not ever going to blend in. We're going to keep it real, and we're going to continue to push forward and make our own platforms. And if it is starting at the bottom, and if it is on YouTube and we have to build it to have its own station, one day we will. I had a part when I worked on Empire and Chicago Med and those kind of things. I had got in the state of mind of, I'm only going to work for these big companies because at least I know I'm going to get paid and blah, 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 blah. I still wasn't getting paid a lot, you know. Now I'm in a whole different thought process as an entertainer to actually make good art. I want to do more black things. So I'm going to be with these streaming platforms and interacting with all kind of people. And that's what we all should do, because all of our voices need to come collectively together to help anybody who's trying to pursue a platform. See what you can do and how you can aid that person, because it's hard as black people when you have limited funds. We need all the support that we could get. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button on this channel. Drop down in the comments, tell us what you think. And I believe Toxic has her hand up.
I just wanted to tag on to help, like what you were saying about like being in the LGBTQ movie and stuff like that. And I just think that's even really great for like somebody like yourself, because like you said, even as a representation as a black man for like the younger community, seeing a black man in a role within that community can just mean so much to somebody in the younger generation, or even in your generation. Like having that representation in that media and just being there just means so much. Like, because like 10, 20 years ago, like we wouldn't even see somebody like you in those roles kind of thing. It would just be like a bunch of like white people or something like that. So I just think it's so good what you're doing, even as like an actor and an entertainer, just even going in to perform in those settings and like doing what you're doing, getting your name, your face out there, and just like being unapologetically yourself. I just think like what you're doing is so good.
A little bit of that, like little history for myself. I was weirded out about, to be honest with you, about taking too many like feminine roles. I think that I got lucky, I guess, with the little stuff I've done to where it wasn't gender specific. This one technically kind of is, because they was like, you want to wear some booty shorts? And I'm like, oh. But I think as an entertainer, though, I think that I should not put myself in a box and I should be able to do every role. I identify myself as a man, so I represent myself as a man. You know what I mean? But I know that there's different type of roles that people can play. Like, I'm not opposed to Martin putting on a dress, or I'm not opposed to Urkel playing the character Myrtle. It was hilarious as fuck. You know, I just think when you hold yourself with dignity and you carry yourself as a sophisticated person, regardless, you're gonna be that person. Like, I could never get mad at a woman who is in her ladylike thing and she's fancy and classy. I have to respect that. When it comes to a man, I have to respect him doing his job, you know. But it's when we do show the weakness that people seem to have a problem with that. I don't need to apologize for anything that I've done, and I don't think any of you should either. Hold your head up and keep on moving. We did what we do. Hell, we made content. You know, it was an era. A lot of us was making content. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Do what you do. Hold your head up high. Enjoy your lifestyle and make the best of it and get your coins. Does anybody have anything else to say? Because we are going to try to wrap this one up. Even though if Sunday service still wants to continue, it can continue. It's just last week, our show was like an hour and 15 minutes, and then when I tried to edit that shit, it was like, your storage, and I was like, bitch, I'm deleting shit. And I know eventually it's just all gonna pile up, but I'll figure that out later at the moment. But yeah,
No, we'll actually start closing it out, and again, want to thank everybody that has been a part of the Black Point of View, supporting Puppy, doing this. We love the
And not just
conversations.
supporting Puppy, but supporting BNWO. So
I
make
was just about to
sure.
get there.
Can you go ahead and drop that website for them so they know where to go, so they can go ahead and subscribe and
course.
contribute and get their dime and sub lifestyle on?
You know, get into the BNWO lifestyle. Yeah, we have a website that all inferiors are welcome to. All Black superiors are welcome to. The Black superiors can sign up for free. The white inferiors or the Yakubian inferiors, y'all can sign up for a monetized price. But that website is theblacknewworldorder.com. Theblacknewworldorder.com. Not BNWO.com. That is a fake page. You will get scammed and you will have your money taken. Guerrilla warfare promotion. We don't fuck with you white boys. BNWO Media, as you can see over here with the Black Point of View hosted by Puppy. We definitely are moving in unison, promoting ourselves, putting out our narratives, our voices. We got a lot of upcoming voices and maybe the podcast sphere. I know my brother Berg says that the bubble is popped, but when you bubbling shit up and you know how to cook, you might be cooking up some things that people can't deny whether they want to or not. And I think that's what we got over here. We had a great conversation about media, a great conversation about how media is tied into the Black identity, the effect that it has on it. I know it's going to be something that we'll dive into at another point in time. And again, big shout out to Puppy, Sir
And
Puppy.
let me say one thing too.
Mm-hmm.
For my queer men and women, so what, you're a fucking tomboy? Because when you grow up, baby, I love my tomboys. When they grow up and then they just get all beautiful and sexy and they done just got into themselves. They got a little bit of roughness, but sexy and beautiful as women should be. And for my men who are a little feminine, so what the fuck? You might twist your hips a little bit and your little wrist a few times, but know who the fuck you are. Know who the fuck you are. Don't let nobody make you feel down about who you are, because you're going to be this person forever. You're just going to get wiser. You're going to get smarter. The way you walk is the way you walk, and the way you talk is the way you talk. And being Black is being colorful and animated, and there isn't one way. You don't have to talk in a baritone voice like Goon all the time if that's not how your voice is. Embrace yourself and don't let nobody make fun of you on some dumb shit. And as a Black person, always be able to defend yourself. That's all.
You heard the man. You heard the man. Shout out to everybody. Is that you still recording or?
Oh yeah, I'm still recording. And for my straight men and my straight women, men, I know some of y'all be depressed as shit. Y'all be depressed as shit. They want me to take care of them. They want me to take care of the house. They want me to use the car. I gotta have all this fucking money. Shit. Some of y'all is fucking depressed after you get out that coochie, because you trying to figure out how you gonna keep that coochie. Take a deep breath, know who the fuck you are, and go on out there and let that mandingo stand strong. And for my Black women, same thing. You know you the backbone. You know you the pillar. Don't let them discourage you because they saying that the Black man ain't behind you and all this shit, because they are. We are. We are in a society now where everybody is thinking about themselves. But when it gets down to the last 10%, when it gets to that last moment when we got to make a decision, and I got to run to the Black side and the white side, now y'all know I'm going to run on over here to my niggas. So we always got your back. We just need to learn how to show it a little bit more. And we will. All right, go and close us out.
All right. So we do have one more hand. They just recently came up. Brother, go ahead. I believe I know how to say your name, but I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Coming all the way from South Africa. Just want to say shout out to y'all. You're doing a great job, man. Who would have thought that as divine as sexual energy can be, how many people are actually open to the idea of using it to overcome just racial polarity and then other boundaries, So shout out to you guys for doing a great job, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
How do you say your name? What is
it's I'm actually Blaze, but that's like Scott Summers for like a campaign that I'm doing. I paint portraits.
Okay, got you. Nice. Hey, man, shout out to all the black artists out there. Definitely tap in. Follow the BNWO page right here. We'll follow back.
That's all love,
eventually, brother. And make sure that we promote your black art, man.
Much appreciated. I was actually at the Sexpo this past weekend.
Okay, dope.
Yeah, and a lot of that was lacking,
Yeah, definitely.
So going forward, I'd actually like to extend the invitation forward for like the next ones and whatnot.
Again,
but I guess
this is my vision, and not to cut you off, but I'm glad you did come up here because you said you do art. We're not just entertainment, singing and dancing. We're film, we're art, we're prolific in the way that we speak, as in Goon. We've been this. You know what I mean? We've had our black leaders and our cultures that they burnt down, like we talked about last week. We made our cities and stuff. And I think we just need to come together more to create that, even though we're hearing, that celebrities and other people that have money, they're talking about buying islands and shit. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely need to get back to the richness that is us. And that is the theme of this black media. But let's get back to the richness that is us.
So with that being said, Blaze, we just going to ask you to hold tight real quick. That way we can close out the Black Point of View segment. Lex, I know you came up.
And God is...
I want to give you opportunity.
And yeah, you got it.
Yep.
Never mind.
I just want to say hi. I hope everybody's having a great day. Submissives, I really hope you did your fucking job and sent to a Black Dominant today. You're not sitting in this space for free. You're not sitting there jerking your fucking dick or whatever it is you're doing and listening. This is not a podcast. Okay? Make sure you're doing your job and supporting your doms. Thank you. Bye.
Well, this part actually is a podcast. The recording anyway.
But where they are currently, because this is pre-recorded in another space, listen here, where they are now still should be servitude. Just because we're entertaining your dumb asses don't mean you should not be working.
And let me clear that up. We ain't entertaining nobody. We over here all coming together.
We entertaining ourselves. That's what we doing. This black media, bitch.
Come on now. Speaking of which, we gonna close it out here. Appreciate you, Puppy, for always hosting the Black Point of View again. Hit that like and subscribe if you are not already doing that on YouTube. You will find us on all of our other BNWO platforms, and we appreciate y'all, man. Have a good one.